be our 77th year.
Wow, 77. That's just amazing. That's absolutely amazing. How many buses do you folks send out every day to get the kids?
This school year, I believe, in Missoula County, not just Missoula County Public Schools, but all the schools that we service, I believe this year our number is 103 routes.
Wow. And how many kids total?
About 4,000 per day.
All right. So let's talk about the basics. If kids have never been on the bus before, maybe they're new to Missoula, or perhaps they're just getting to school for the very first time, their first year or so, how young do you take them?
Well, on our full-size school bus routes, we have a full contingency of kindergarten students. And in Missoula County Public Schools now, we have a pre-school program, and we're taking kids as early as 3 and 4 years old.
My goodness! All right, so let's talk about some rules for the kids when they get on the bus. Obviously, the bus drivers are going to get up and greet them and talk with them. And so, what kind of things do you want them to know before they even get on the bus?
Right, and Peter, that's great information right there, because a lot of things happen before the kids do get on the bus. And on each of the school buses, we have posted 10 rules on 10 school bus safety rules, and you'll find that 5 of those 10 rules happen outside the bus. So on the first day, we ask that the kids are at least 5 minutes early to the bus stop, because one of the things we don't want our children to be chasing a school bus. That's one of the more unsafe things that we can even think about. So be early to the school bus. As far as safety is concerned, have all your stuff in the backpacks. We don't want kids fumbling outside the bus looking for papers or dropping their balls and things like that. So we want them to have everything going to school in their backpacks, waiting at a safe location for the bus to arrive, and the bus will come to a complete stop. And when it does, the bus driver will open his or her doors, and that'll activate the red lights that will protect the kids with the red lights, and that'll get the people in town to stop and wait for those kids to load the bus.
All right. Now, once the kids are inside, hopefully mom and dad have taught them some manners, but hopefully. But what are the rules when you're inside the bus?
Well, again, they're pretty simple. A school bus is built so each seat is a safety compartment. And in order for those kids to maximize the safety of that seat, which is a safety compartment, they're asked to sit properly. So if you come out of the school bus and sit down face forward, you're going to be in the safest vehicle on the road.
Okay. And how many kids does the average bus hold?
A normal school bus for kindergarten through 3rd grade students has a capacity of 71. Now, after we get into that 4th, 5th, 6th grade, we'd want to put 2 kids per seat, and then our capacity goes down to 48. So for the younger kids, it's 71. For the older kids, middle school and beyond, it would be 48.
Okay. Now, everybody asks me all the time, and I wanted to pass this along to you, why are there no seatbelts in the buses?
Well, we talked about that, Peter. A school bus is the safest vehicle on the road. It's 7 times safer than a parent dropping their kids off at school. So a school bus is considered the safest vehicle on the road. And I know that there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of people talking about adding safety measures of seatbelts. But there's a lot of folks that believe this compartmentalization concept is safe. And then there are a number of people that believe that children would be safer with seatbelts. And so, at Beach Transportation, we're going to let those people make those types of decisions. And whatever, the state or our local city government or school board comes up with, we'll embrace that and move forward with it.
Okay. Now, how many different routes do you folks take to get kids to and from school?
Well, like we said, we have about 103 different school bus routes, and our routes are what we call get high school kids to school in the morning, then take that same bus to pick up middle school students and drop them off, then take that same bus and drop off grade school kids. Those are called tiered routes. So we're able to get high school, middle school, grade school in the mornings in one bus. And in the afternoons, we because high school and grade school get out at the same time, we have to add some bus routes in the afternoon because we don't have that luxury that we do in the morning. But each school bus will service up to 2 or 3 routes, and try to maximize as many kids as we can with just one vehicle.
What kind of training do your drivers get, Mitch?
Okay, that's a great question, Peter. Our drivers are required to meet a number of standards, before you're able to drive a school bus. So they'll have a commercial driver's license. They'll be required to pass a physical. They'll pass a motor vehicle check. They'll pass a criminal background check, a pre-employment drug and alcohol screen. And then as they move right into the bus driving position, we're required to have 15 additional hours of training each year. So once you become a school bus driver, there is a perpetual, ongoing training program that never ends.
Sure. Now, what happens when there are discipline problems on the bus? What kind of authority does a bus driver have?
Well, Missoula County Public Schools, what we have is a progressive form of discipline. And a student is asked many times if he's misbehaving in any way. And but what I say about, discipline and misbehaving is if the student is doing enough to where he's distracting the driver from his driving duties, then it becomes unsafe. And the driver is trained in student management, so he'll ask the student many times to correct the behavior, and if it just isn't going to be corrected, then there's a form, we call it a student discipline report, and that goes to the school, and the school will then pass that along to the parents, and ultimately we're trying to correct the behavior, to try to make the bus as safe as we can.
Sure.
The people in Missoula should understand that the large majority of kids that ride on school buses are great riders, and that a school bus isn't an area that we have to discipline kids all the time. Our drivers are very pleased with the kids, and when you're talking about 4,000 kids, of course you're going to have a number of kids that may need a little bit more discipline than others.
All right, now let's talk.
But I'd like to say this too, Peter. About 5 years ago, this is something I'd like to pass along to the parents. Maybe as long as 10 years ago, we took confrontation away from drivers and students. So a driver will not confront a student in any way. He's going to ask the student to correct the behavior, explain why we want him to correct the behavior, and 90% of the time is for the safety of him and others. And then if the student just pretty much refuses to correct that behavior, then the report just goes through. But the old-fashioned confrontation and things that people think about years ago, that's long gone as well.
All right. Now, what about the rest of us? How can we help keep the kids and the school buses safe?
Yeah, that's another great question, Peter. School starts for Missoula County Public Schools on Monday, August 28th. And if we could just get the community to understand that kids are walking to school bus stops, or they're walking to school in general, and the kids are going to be out. And remember that when you see the yellow flashing lights of a school bus, that means that the bus is about to stop. And so when you see those yellow lights flashing, we're asking everybody in the community to stop and wait for those kids to load and then go. So remember, when those lights are red, the bus will stop, and when the door opens, those lights are red. And remember, at that point, you just cannot pass that school bus. You are definitely breaking the law at that point.
Got it. And anything else you want us to know, Mitch?
Well, not really. Really, Peter, because I think you've covered a lot of the things. It's our 77th year. Our drivers are just the greatest team in the world here at Beach, and they just look forward to another year. And like I said, we've got the greatest team in the world. We couldn't be much happier. We appreciate the communication that we have with the schools that we service. And we just look forward to another year. I'm looking forward to next Monday to get another school year going.